Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. All right, folks, buckle up because there's a juicy rumor swirling around the Miami Dolphins locker room that's got the NFL world buzzing. Word on the street is that WADDLE, one of the Dolphins' star wide receivers, has reportedly thrown some serious shade at his teammate TYREEK. According to insiders, WADDLE supposedly said, "I don't play with him anymore," which has sparked a ton of speculation about tensions between the top receivers. This is not just your everyday teammate disagreement. Sources suggest that Hill is actually disliked by several players within the Dolphins locker room, which raises questions about the chemistry on one of the NFL's most exciting offensive units. Now, it's important to remember that this is still a rumor, but the whispers are loud enough to make you wonder what's really going on behind those closed doors. If you think about it, the Dolphins built a dynamic receiving duo with Hill and WADDLE, expecting fireworks on the field. Both players have undeniable talent. Hill's speed and playmaking ability combined with WADDLE's smooth route running create nightmare matchups for defenses. So, for something like this to surface, it might hint at deeper issues than just a typical competitive edge. Could it be a clash of personalities? Or maybe some unresolved conflicts from practice sessions? People close to the team hint that Hill's attitude might rub some teammates the wrong way, and that could be causing friction in what should be a cohesive group pushing for a championship run. And as we all know, chemistry in football is just as crucial as talent. Now, let's dive into what might be behind these alleged locker room tensions. Tyreek Hill has always been a bit of a polarizing figure. His electric on-field persona can sometimes come off as overly confident or even cocky. While fans love his swagger, it's possible that teammates aren't vibing with his approach. Off the field, some insiders suggest that Hill's competitive nature sometimes crosses the line, leading to friction with other players who prefer a more team-first mentality. Meanwhile, WADDLE is known for being laid back and a team player, so the contrast in personalities could be a source of that rumored disconnect. In a sport where unity is key, any discord can be magnified, especially in a high-pressure environment like the NFL. The implications of this rumored fallout between WADDLE and Hill are massive for the Dolphins' season prospects. Miami's offense heavily relies on their receivers creating separation and scoring opportunities. If there's genuine friction between the two stars, it could affect their timing and trust on the field, which would be a huge setback. Coaches might have to play mediator, or even rethink their offensive strategy if this situation escalates. Imagine the headlines if this tension results in reduced playing time for either Hill or WADDLE, or if the coaching staff feels forced to separate them on the depth chart. This could spiral into one of the biggest locker room stories in the NFL. So it's something fans and analysts will definitely keep an eye on moving forward. But here's another angle that's floating around. Some believe this is all smoke and mirrors, possibly a strategic leak to put pressure on Tyreek Hill or to motivate the team. In professional sports, rumors can sometimes be planted intentionally to stir the pot or shift narratives. It's not unheard of for teams or agents to use media leaks as a way to influence contract negotiations or player focus. So, while the quote "I don't play with him anymore" sounds explosive, there's a chance it's part of a bigger psychological game. Either way, the Dolphins' locker room dynamics are clearly under the microscope, and if this rumor gains traction, it might spark a broader conversation about leadership and culture within the team. Another interesting aspect to consider is how the coaching staff, led by Mike McDaniel, might handle this brewing storm. McDaniel's offensive scheme has been praised for its creativity and for maximizing the talents of players like WADDLE and Hill. However, if the rumored personal rift is true, it puts McDaniel in a tough spot. Coaches generally aim to foster harmony and focus, so they might have to take disciplinary action or call for team-building efforts behind the scenes. The Dolphins' front office could also get involved if this tension threatens the team's overall performance or public image. For a franchise hungry to compete at the highest level, any internal issues could derail progress. So how management addresses this will be crucial. Still with us? Then show some love, hit that like button and let us know in the comments what's your take on the Fins this week. Fans, of course, have already taken to social media to react to these rumors. Some are divided. There are those who back WADDLE, praising his professionalism and hinting that Hill's ego might be the problem. Others stand by Hill, highlighting his game-changing ability and suggesting that team chemistry problems are Overblown, social media polls and comment sections are flooded with theories, ranging from speculation about locker room politics to dramatic calls for trades, or benching one of the receivers. This kind of fan reaction only adds fuel to the fire, showing just how invested the NFL community is in every twist and turn of this story. It's the perfect storm for drama. Looking back at past seasons, it's not unusual for star teammates to have disagreements or personal clashes. History is filled with examples where elite players didn't always see eye to eye, but managed to come together on the field. The key question now is whether Waddle and Hill can bury the hatchet and refocus on the Dolphins' shared goals. If the team can turn this rumor into a motivating factor, it could actually bring out the best in both players, but if the tension lingers, it might signal trouble ahead for Miami's offensive unit. The next few weeks of training, games, and interviews will be critical in revealing the true state of their relationship. Of course, it's also worth noting that the media loves a good locker room drama, and sometimes stories get amplified or twisted without official confirmation from either Waddle, Hill, or the Dolphins organization. It's hard to separate fact from fiction. The players might address these rumors soon, especially if questions about the relationship keep coming up in press conferences. Alternatively, the silence might indicate that the team prefers to handle these matters privately. Either way, the public and media attention will keep the pressure high, making it one of the most intriguing storylines this NFL season. In conclusion, whether this report about Jalen Waddle exposing Tyreek Hill's locker room issues is true or just a rumor, it's undeniable that the Dolphins' chemistry is a hot topic right now. The idea that Hill might be hated in the locker room and that Waddle refuses to play with him anymore is explosive and could have huge implications on the field. Fans and analysts will be watching closely to see how this unfolds, hoping for a resolution that keeps Miami's offense firing on all cylinders. For now, this story remains a tantalizing mystery, a whisper in the NFL grapevine that could either fade away or explode into one of the season's biggest dramas. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up!